I am DM Zone. This is Gamers Oasis. This is going to be another one of our Patreon videos. So let's get into this. Okay, guys. So the last video you may have seen was about my porters. I wanted to create 20 porters and then actually create one for the group, so a total of 21. Because the party was going to start out with a porter, and I feel like that was very important to show how I do it, why it's random, these type of things. But it's kind of like that sausage that no one really wants to watch every time. They just kind of want to know it's random and they want to believe it's random. So that's what that video was sort of for. This one's going to be the same thing. I'm going to be doing replacement videos every now and then where I'll go through and create like 5 or whatever and add it to the list, and then we'll refresh the list essentially, and that will be where that goes. I'm also going to be probably eliminating some off of the list, either because of bad performance or because they're no longer porters or they're doing something else type of thing. And the same thing is going to be true with a torchbearer. I'm trying to run a campaign where there's a calendar, so with actual in-game time. So if 4 years goes by, you're not going to have the same group of porters and torchbearers. Maybe a torchbearer become a porter, or maybe become a cook, or maybe they become adventurers. We don't know. And that's kind of why I'm doing this way, because I feel like it feels more organic than just to be arbitrary and say this thing happened. But let me go ahead and get to my per se Excel sheet so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so the way this works is I'm going to take a couple D6, and the last one I used these dice, and this was my gender dice. So I'll keep that as my gender dice. I'm going to go ahead and go with this because unlike the other one, when I rolled all these together, I don't have a focus stat, so I'm not going to have a 2d6 for any of the stats for the torchbearer. Matter of fact, they don't need an 8 or higher in anything to be a decent torchbearer. So I'm going to roll these two together, assign whatever their gender and whatever race they are, and then we'll go ahead and do the 3d6 across the board in order. The order being strength, dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, con, and charisma. That is the way it was in old D&D as far as I remember it, and so that's the order in which I'll be rolling it here. So let me go over and talk about the race. So I have 5 different types of humans. 2 of them are white. One's got curly hair, one's got long hair. Nothing else really matters beyond that. Some are blue-eyed, some are brown-eyed, some are black-eyed, some have black hair, blonde hair, red hair. They all have a mixture of that. Then I have some blacks. I have some islanders, and then I have some desert people. If you were to go, I didn't say this in this first video, but I feel like it's important. The area in which the game is being played currently is predominantly white. There's these 2 different groups of white humans, and then there are lesser chances of the black, the islander, and the desert. If you were to go to the desert where these people lived, and in their area, it would be inverted. There'd be more than one type of desert people for sure, and then the white people would be rarely seen within this, and they might just be listed as white people instead of having multiple groups. So because they are in a predominantly white area, the focus will be more on that. It does not discount. I have areas where I have islanders, I have areas where I have blacks, and I have areas where I have desert, and in those areas it is considered reversed. All right, so if I roll a 1, then I can get hill dwarves and halflings. They have a combined total that's equal to each other. However, there are more hill dwarves than there are mountain dwarves. The least common of the demi-humans are the elves. And there's 2 types of elves too. And the only reason why I really list them is their approach to, or philosophy, I guess you could say, to how you interact with them is very different. They have very different origins, very different thoughts, plans, those type of things. Okay. With porters, I had different pay values. I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of those tabs up real quick. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this started. We're going to burn through these 20 real quick. The patron that they're traveling with is giving them a torchbearer and a porter while they go do this thing to rescue basically a farm of one of the people within this area. So we have a demi-human straight off the bat, and this is going to be a male. 4, 5, and 6 are male. So this is going to be a male. That is a 6. 6 is a high elf. Now we're going to go ahead and roll our 3d6. Excuse me, pencil. Or not pencil, paintbrush. So we have an 8 strength. We have a 7 dexterity. We have a 7 intelligence. I was concerned why an elf would be so early going on to this, but with those stats the way they are, it makes a lot of sense so far. We're going to have a 12 con. Interesting. I know I said you could have an 8 and everything and it wouldn't be the end of the world. I really wasn't trying to push that. So we have the most mediocre of any type of elf I've ever seen in my life. Alright, let's go ahead and go to the next one. It's going to be an type A human female. Let's go to the strength. We have, wow. It's like I'm rolling a PC here, the way I've been rolling these stats. We have a 9, 12. We have an 11. We have a 6. We have a 7. This is PC material right here. If you don't know, my PC characters came out terrible for their constitution across the board. Okay, so this is going to be a desert person. First one of this is going to be female. So this is going to be a D class person, human. So we have a 9. We have a 12. Some point in time, I'm going to roll the bad off of these dice. And we're going to be like, why is this person a porter or a torchbearer? We are not there. But at some point in time, this will happen. Alright. Yeah, that's not bad. 5 wisdom's not good, but that's not a bad character. I have played with worse, for sure. We have another desert female. There we go, getting a little bit better strength finally. There we go, 12. Liking this stats a little bit better. Part of the reason why the stats matter is you might ask them to do something and they may have to make a stat roll. Also, if you ever have to promote a torchbearer into a fighter or something like that, so you can have someone that travels with the group and picks up a sword and does something, you want to kind of know what the stats are before you do it and not be like, oh wow, this guy had 18 whatever strength and we never even knew it. Yeah, I don't want that. I want to kind of have that figured out first. So this is going to be an islander male. 12. 11. Got a 6. Got a 13 finally. Got an 11. Alright. That dude has better stats than some of my PCs do, actually. My cleric, the highest stat he has is a 12. And, yeah, highest con in the group I have is a 7. So this is going to be another female, which blew my mind that that was the situation. This one is going to be an N-type human. So we have a 14. We have a 10. We have a 10. We have an 8. We have a 7. And yes, if you were wondering, I am using my left hand to type. And I'm able to use the numlock pad to get these numbers out there pretty quickly because I literally did data entry for a while. So, which is, you want a boring job, that would be a boring job. So it's my first black human. And we have a 10. We have an 8. We have a 12. Getting ahead of myself here. Got a 10. We have a 13. And we have a 10, 11. So this is going to be another female desert. Interesting. I kind of want a male desert. Just because I wonder if, like my world, they have interrelations like that. That's not a thing. But it is a thing that would be, you know, I don't like having all of the same, if that makes sense. When I get into village design and I start talking about that, you will see interrelations born. 15. Ooh, that guy there would have been a good porter, so he may eventually become that. He would actually be a higher paid porter because of his constitution and strength. This is 11. Another desert female. $11, 15. There's a 12. Waiting for these dice to break off and just start rolling some 18s. They have not done it yet. We're looking at 8, 12. I mean, the porters, 2 of the porters actually have an 18 strength. And one of the porters, not only does he have an 18, but he has the best stats I've ever rolled, ever. This is going to be an A-type human. $13. $7. There's our 18. 18 intelligence. Interesting. Why would a smart human female? Interesting. That makes you want to know that story. Definitely makes you want to know that story. Decent con too. Eight. So this is going to be a female islander. So we have 11. We have a 14. 11. 11. 6. Now you look like a PC. There we go, and a 12. This is going to be a male islander, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Make sure something real quick. Yeah, doing good. 11. 7. 11. 9. 6. 12. I do believe it's the first 18 on intelligence I've rolled so far. So we have a male demi-human. Number 2 is going to be a hill dwarf. With a terrible strength for a dwarf, as at least I always imagine him, but a classically terrible dexterity. Wow, we are really hating on the demi-human today. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, it is what it is. They're islander male. Okay, a 17 intelligence islander male. That is hit the number button, so it came off that. That's what the confusion was. 14. 8. So this is going to be in our A-type male. Okay, we got decent strength. Decent dexterity. And it's going to be a little suspect at 6. Not terrible. Okay. That's not a bad dude. That dude's got playability or viability for a while. Okay, 6 is going to be black male. 11. 11. 10. 10. That's going to be 6. And that's going to be 10. So this is going to be another black male. 6 is black, right? Yes. Got a 7. Got a 10. Got an 8. Oh. First 3 wisdom. Porters end up with 2, 3 con. And con is like one of their stats they really want to be good at. So this dude has a 16, no, 15. Constitution. And he has a 14 charisma. Our black male. 8. Oh, 18 dexterity. That is the first of those I know for sure. All right. And 8 intelligence. That was 6 wisdom, is that right? High con and high charisma here could be interesting. That's high. That is a 16. Well, that's not terrible. So we have a, this is an N-type, male. We have a 14. It's good strength. Terrible dexterity. We have a 7 intelligence. We have an 8 wisdom. We have a 14 con. So this guy would be paid more as a porter or doing other things. Not probably masonry because he has a terrible dexterity. And with a 15 charisma, he'd actually get really close to getting another bonus as a porter. Because no one wants to hear a porter complain. They want him friendly. All right, this is going to be a female A-type. And she is going to be my last for a second. So we have a 5 strength. We have an 11 dexterity. We have a 14 intelligence. A 16 14 wisdom. A 5 constitution. And an 8 charisma. Okay. Now I'm going to figure out the pay. What would be good with a torchbearer? So this is a Porter bonuses. I'm going to say that a torchbearer should get bonuses for having a constitution of 13, plus 2 for having a constitution of a 16. And not quite as important, I'm going to say that if they should have a plus 3 con for an 18 con. And the reason why that is not as important is because they're not carrying like heavy stuff. You're not trying to like force march them. You only need torches for so many hours, that type of stuff. Also, demi-humans are going to get plus 1. So I described that again before. Dwarves, because they have infravision, so the torch goes out, it's literally still glowing red. Same thing with elves. They're able to see it with their infravision now. They get relit. Bingo, bingo, bongo. Good to go. Halflings, because if you are out in the wild, you don't want your torchbearer to get lost or get caught. Halflings are extremely good out in the wild. Now, am I going to offer any sort of charisma modifier for this? And I think so. Probably at the same level. Probably at a 16 as well. Where you get those extra bonuses. Because everyone likes people that you just get along with. You just pay them better because they're easy to get along with. They don't cause drama. I'm going to give a -1 if they have a 4 through 6 con. I think it's 4 through 6. I think a -2 is only at 3. Depending, that will be what that is. And I'm actually going to give a -3 if they were walking around with a 3 con. Or, yes. And the reason why that is because for the exact opposite. That is an adaptation I did. The way the rules state is if you are, so when you're in a dungeon or when you're in the wilderness, you can move 5 turns in the dungeon before you have to rest. If you're in the wild, you can travel for 5 days before you have to rest an entire day. So a +1 con modifier allows a person to carry normal stuff and be able to go 6 turns and then get their full turn rest, or 6 days and get their full day rest. And if you have +2 con at 16, then you would have 7 days and then rest on the 8th. And if you had that 18, you'd be going 9 days resting on the 10th day. So there are some benefits. And the converse of that is if you have a -1 con modifier, instead of it being every 5 turns, it's every 4 turns. And if you have a -2 con modifier, it's every 3 turns versus every 5 turns. So you are literally waiting for the torchbearer to catch their breath while they walk through a dungeon. Very little need for that. All right, let me come back over here. We're going to go through this real quick. I don't have anything. This is a high elf, so his pay will be at scale 2. I'm going to go ahead and look at this one here. We have no negative con, so we're fine. It's a human. So it's going to be that. We have a higher con of 16, so that's going to be a 3. We have a human. Even though it's strong, that part doesn't matter. We're looking at literally Constitution. Constitution is good. This one's fine. This one's going to get that slight bonus. This one's going to get that slight bonus. Good. Good. This one's going to be a 0, followed by a 0. dwarf with a good con is going to be a 3. Human with the same con is going to be a 2. So 1, that's a 0. That's a, excuse me, that's not 1, that's a 2. 1, 2, and 1. All right, now let's go ahead and see which one am I getting. Number 8. So this will be the human. We'll have a human female, desert human female torchbearer with good strength, good con. Really a nice character. Intelligence is not great, but if you were ever to have to make a fighter type, she would be it. She'd be a great character for that. Okay, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and add this to the list of characters. I have got my porter now. I'm going to name these. When you see me come back, I'll go ahead and have these named up, and I'll roll the 20th character again just to fill that spot, and we'll go from there. I will be doing future videos like this, talking about different ones I have out there for like sages and masons and miners and all those type of things. So I think this will be very fun and create a big body of NPCs to work with. Later, as we develop personalities with these characters, I will do some testing to see what type of personalities and whatnot. If that torchbearer is willing to stand in the muck and the mire, which might be feces, just so that the party can have some torchlight, or if they're terrified of dragons and these type of things, or if they just have an iron will. And we'll go from there as we build this NPC maybe into something, or just have it fade off into whatever. And it's not meant to be a center feature. It's meant to be as much detail as needs to be displayed, and if it becomes something special, I have the framework and the bones to be able to make something special, if that makes sense. Alright guys, I'll see you guys in the next section.